Hi, I'm Trading Nichols. On this channel, I'm going to be covering Forex, crypto, trading stocks. I do it all. Hope that my wide interest in the financial markets is not too much for all of you. But today, quickly, you're here for the reason why you clicked on this, because you want to hear about Celsius. Okay. So I took a lot of notes on the recent broadcast. I don't know if you have an hour and a half, but I'll link it to it if you want it direct from the horse's mouth after you watch my briefer version of it, if you want to fact check me. But 3 weeks ago, Celsius only had $1 billion under management. A week ago, it was $2 billion. And by the time they got all excited and carefully announced that they had $2 billion, they were up to $2.6 billion. They have a lot of money under management. This is not the same as the Celsius token. The Celsius token is slowly going up in value, but a lot of that can be people that are just investing in Celsius. Money that's actually under the Celsius team under management is what this figure represents, and it's different than their market cap. Kind of like some of these big hedge funds, they might have $1 trillion under management. I don't know how many are that big, but their stock might only be a few $1 billion. Okay. So there's a difference between the value of the company and how much they have under management, because it's not their funds, it's someone else's funds. But it still goes to show the strength of the company and how much confidence people are having with them that's growing every day. So what happened? Well, recently, GoDaddy, there was only one person at the GoDaddy team that could push a button that would put Celsius' app and web back up online. This is very serious, of course. GoDaddy couldn't handle more than 275,000 people checking their balances at the same time. They have networks on AWS. I've actually set up a network myself there when I went to network administration school. Very, very amazing systems. Very good. They were able to spin up more servers as they needed, but their DNS side couldn't handle that kind of flow of users. Now that they've gotten their fix up, they can handle up to 10 million users, while they could not before. And while that's a lot of users, that doesn't mean they're all logging in at the same time. But part of what broke them is that they couldn't have more than 275,000 people trying to check their balance at the same time. They still want to expand even beyond that, because they've already doubled their user base than they did over the last year, and they want to be able to handle 100 million users. They had their security expert on. He managed the servers. They're talking all the time about what's going on. So $2.6 billion under management. That suddenly compares them to Grayscale. Grayscale. If you're not familiar with them, they're a hedge fund manager that actually has a way of investing into Bitcoin. It costs you 20%. Yeah, you heard it right. It costs you 20%. More about that on Digital Asset News. They did a very recent video that had a segment that included talking about Celsius and Grayscale. So it's kind of on the lips of a few people right now and how they can compare. So their AMU, or their assets under management. Their assets under management, what is that? That is just the money under management. Let me go over that again. That's their money under management. It's different than the value of Celsius. It's different than the value of the company itself. It just shows confidence in users, okay? So this is the money we have deposited with them. Remember, the big deal for Celsius is they aren't like your bank. They don't lend you out 80% of your money. Every person who takes a loan off their own money has secured their money. So with a credit card, that's an unsecured loan. With Celsius, when you put money in with them, they will let you borrow up to a certain percent. Right now, the max, I believe, is 50%. If you put in Bitcoin and you borrow 50%, Bitcoin were to go down by 40% tomorrow, you would need to add to your position because you're having it secured by a loan. So it's typically better not to borrow at the max, but if you pay it down faster than Bitcoin changes in price, you'll be okay. Personally, if I were to take a loan off them, I would probably use something that is less volatile, maybe XRP. It's like Rob at Digital Asset News always says, watch out, XRP is about a quarter. Well, they're about 27 cents, so I don't own much XRP right now. I sold a bunch of it again. Okay, so they don't lend out 80% of their money like banks. They're not allowed to do fractional banking. every person who takes a loan off their own money secured their own money. Back in March, when we had the big stock crash, and the Bitcoin crashed, and a lot of the alts crashed with it, pretty sure everything had a big dip. I don't know, $4,000 Bitcoin was. There was a lot of margin calls because there was not enough money to secure the loans with Celsius. Some companies were in a lot of trouble doing crypto lending, but Celsius was okay. You have to understand, Celsius, with how much they have lent out, they have more money in the company than they ever lend out. And on top of that, they still require people to secure their own loans. So this is, their whole attitude is kind of like the new Dave Ramsey of wealth building. They want you to build your wealth. They want you to leave your money there. But if you have to take your money out, there's no fees. So some companies got into trouble, but Celsius is okay, and all their customers got their accounts back out of trouble. And of course, the company, having weathered such a storm, only got better and better. Sorry, my camera's slightly in front of the notes I took. Adjust that a little bit. Understand, if you have $1,000 in Bitcoin, you can't borrow $1,000 in Bitcoin. It's more like 50%. So Bitcoin would have to have a maximum loan against your securities with them, and we have to have a March-like event to have there being in real trouble. Celsius is a profitable company. Companies like BlockFi, their other competitors, they still aren't profitable. So now, why would you go with Celsius? Why would you do that? Well, let's just say you have a lot of assets and you wanted to take a 1% loan. That's awesome. So maybe you've heard about the high interest rates that you can get out of Celsius. It's not because it's a Ponzi scheme. This is the real deal. It's because institutional companies that borrow money from them pay a lot higher interest. You and me, the regular people, we all have our secured loans with them, and we pay a very small fee in order to take a loan with them. We pay 1%. If you decide to pay it off early, you still have to pay the 1% because you did have access to all that money for a short period of time. But other than that, it just collects interest very slow, very easy to deal with. I haven't actually been a lent customer with them. I've actually been getting my debt down and down. Just owe money on the house and on the minivan, and even that's almost paid off. The minivan, not the house. I only had the house 5 years. Okay. So now the companies, BlockFi, they're the competitors. They still aren't profitable, believe it or not. They're still making more money than they're bringing in, or they're spending more money than they're bringing in. Celsius is actually wealth building as a company right alongside their users. Also understand, Celsius rates do change weekly. The regular update the yield to make sure they have a safe margin. They always have the same margins. They give us 80% of the money and they keep 20%. Talking about the money they make off of their interest payments. One concern someone had is they saw 30 million move on Celsius a few weeks ago. That was Alex giving his wife a birthday gift. Don't worry. His wife is a hodler, just like he is. And if you're not familiar with the crypto space, hodler is because someone made some kind of famous post where they typed hodl instead of hold. That means you have strong hands if you're going to hodl. All right? Another concern. 13 million is gone. That time it was because Celsius had to pay taxes on the yields that they're making. $13 million in taxes on yields? Yeah, I mean, $2.6 billion under management. Go figure. All right, one concern, another concern, covered those paragraphs, I'm sorry. Celsius never has any lockups or fees. So it's not like Ethereum where if you want to stake it, you have to have 32 Ether and you have to leave it in on the project for 2 years and hope it doesn't fall apart. Because it could. Any day it could. With all these dApps that use Ethereum, Ethereum's under a great deal of risk. That would be very concerning to me to put that kind of wealth under staking where I couldn't move it for 2 years. And I'd have to have a laptop or a computer with an uninterrupted power supply and can never turn off, because if I'm one of the nodes and I don't do my job and I don't verify transactions, instead of making money, I lose money. So anytime that if you would have to have a stable, secure network, in my opinion. It's probably going to create a situation where people have servers that have like 99% uptime and we pool our money together to stake, and they keep 10% and we get 90%, which is a fair fee because they have to have all the computing power. In fact, you have to have very powerful computers. Well, it's not that bad. You only have to have an Intel 7. I have it, but I have an i5. So already I wouldn't be able to run an Ethernet. So anyway, that's not what I'm interested in. So staking, that's one of the ways that you can lock up funds. But on the flip side, you can just put it over at Celsius and you can move your money anytime you want, and you can earn APR. Okay? Go ahead and go over to the Celsius app. I've got a link in my description. They will take good care of you if you use my referral code, which is included in the link. They will actually pay you some Bitcoin for a minimum fee. I don't really want to say how much. I think it's like $200 deposit. You can get $20 back in Bitcoin. I already got my $20 back. It took a few weeks for that money to come in. It might have been a couple months, but in the meantime, I learned another $80 in interest. It's amazing. So I've gone on long enough. I'm already over 10 minutes. Get out there and invest in something. This is not a financial advice. It's just what I'm going, and it's just what I'm doing, and I think it's a good idea for me. And you can do it too if you'd like. Get out there and invest in something. Don't risk anything that you can't lose in the market. You never know what's going on, even if we're in a world moving with Bitcoin moving parabolic. It's in a parabolic bull run. It's amazing. It is. In fact, I bought more today because every time it comes down, I buy more. I'm acting the same as if it's not on a bull run. Eventually, it's going to just keep going down, not keep going up. But a lot of people are thinking there's a 70% chance it's going to get to 20K anytime. I bought Ethereum just now. I bought XLM just now. Every time it dips, it goes up. People believe that once Bitcoin's at its all-time high, that's when some of this money is going to start pouring into the alts. The alts right now, a lot of them are doing very well, but they're not doing amazing. Even Ethereum is only just doing a run up towards 500, which they've done before. That's kind of the equivalent a few months ago of Bitcoin coming up to 10,000. We're coming up to 12 and failing to hold, things like that. So Ethereum's not doing anything really amazing. Again, it's just something to make $5-10 on as I buy and sell again and again. It adds up. I mean, I only used $1,000 to make $300 in my first few months with crypto, just doing it part-time after work. You can make a lot more trading, in my opinion, but my advice to most people, you should dollar cost average. Just buy it on the regular, buy it whether it's going up, buy it whether it's going down. Just consistently buy it, because if you pick good projects, fundamentally, they're going to do better. Technical analysis is always showing me the likelihood of it going down, going up. Like, I haven't bought back into XRP after it dropped off at 27.5 cents. I think it's going to keep coming down. XLM, Bitcoin, I think we're in a bull run. I feel safe buying it almost any time. But as always, I'd rather buy on a dip that looks like it's not a shaky dip. If it's a dip that keeps falling, I might sell out completely. But as of right now, every $1,000 Bitcoin is up, I sell a quarter of my position until at 20,000, I won't even own a dime of it. Some people are saying that this is supposed to be a major bull run, not just a bull run back up to 20K, it could go up to 80K. That would be amazing, but I just don't know that that's what's going to happen. So once again, I'm trading Nichols. Get out there and invest on something.